stranger, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love yourself. Love the stranger, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love yourself. Find the holy in the love you offer everybody else. Find the secret in the center of the stories that you tell. Love the stranger, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love yourself. Love the stranger, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love yourself. Find the holy in the love you offer everybody else. Find the secret in the center of the stories that you tell. Love the stranger, love your neighbor, love your enemy, love yourself. Love the stranger, love yourself. Love your neighbor, love yourself.
I'm Bill Casey. I'm your worship associate for today. Speaking later on will be Alec Peck, and I hope that all of you are having a wonderful day and that it continues for the entire week. Here we go. We've done that's the opening hymn with the in-gathering. Okay.
Start right here.
All right. But at any rate, good morning and welcome to the in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 16, "'Tis the Gift to be Simple," from the gray hymnal on your pulpit there, on your pews. Please rise in body and spirit and join us in singing hymn 16, "'Tis a Gift to be Simple."
Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be gentle, 'tis the gift to be fair, 'tis the gift to wake and breathe the morning air, and every day way to walk, in the path we choose. 'Tis the gift that we pray we may ne'er come to lose. And true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services in our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Bill Casey, member of the Worship Committee, and I'll be your worship associate today. Other members of the Worship Committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, Adam Wedeking, who monitors our visual and online connection, and Kate Lewicki, who's in charge of the sound system. We welcome you all to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. We welcome all of you to our service, especially those who are searching for a spiritual home. Many of us are seeking for something larger than ourselves to which we could belong, a sense of rootedness to hold us as we create meaning together. Whether it's your first time or your 100th time in worship with us, we hope that you find here questions that stretch you, people to befriend you, and a liberal faith that feeds your spirit and manifests your values. Now, before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we'd like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all the information, and it's also available on our website. Sharing joys and concerns is one of the important rituals in our community, and an opportunity to share milestones, losses, achievements, and experiences with one another. On the first Sunday of each month, we will hear from those in the sanctuary and read any joys and concerns which we have received. For those of you at home, you can send your joys and concerns throughout the month to the UU Church of Riverside at gmail.com. Our next Joys and Concerns will be on August 3rd. Okay, hold on just a moment. Game night is held on the second and fourth Fridays at 6 p.m. in the Parish Hall. There are many games to choose from, or you can bring your favorites from home. The next game night will be Friday on July 25th. Come join in the fun and the fellowship. The Social and Environmental Justice Committee meeting is today in the annex at 10:30. You can find the Zoom link and more information on the website under Social and Environmental Justice. I'd like to invite up Adam Wedeking, who chairs the Social and Environmental Justice Committee, tell us about the current project.
Good morning. This morning we will be talking, last month, our national denomination, the Unitarian Universalist Association, had their annual General Assembly. And at this General Assembly, they discussed a lot of different things. And out of it came a few different documents, items, issues that I think we want to take a look at. They came up with a congregational study action issue about prison abolition. And 3 actions for immediate witness that I think we should discuss and talk about how our church can get involved and what our larger denomination is working on. So join us again. It says 11:30 up there, but it's 10:30. And actually, we're going to meet in the back, probably back here or back here. But we'll meet here in the sanctuary instead of going over the annex. But so have a little bit of coffee and then come join us about 10:30. Thank you.
And you know, our time together is brief, but it's filled with joy. In that spirit, turn around to those around you, greet them, welcome them, share their joy, do the long distance hand wave if you're not going to go charging across, but turn around and say hi to everybody and share a little fellowship. And for those of you on Zoom, you can give us the digital princess wave. Good morning to all of you. Well, welcome to all our visitors today, and welcome back to our old friends. We'd love to meet you during coffee hour as well in the parish hall, get to know each other better. That'll be after the service, where you can also find a visitor's book. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you are here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on our church events. There will also be a short discussion after the service to share your reflections with us. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at adminchurchofriverside.org. And now, I invite you, sit back, take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You're welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our covenant. You got it. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to live in harmony with all the living creatures and plants of the earth. This do we affirm. Today's sermon, Why Pick a Church, is taken from the book Challenge of a Liberal Faith by George N. Marshall. George N. Marshall was a Unitarian Universalist writer throughout the 50s to the 80s. His publications include Challenge of a Liberal Faith, Buddha, The Quest for Serenity, a biography, and The Church of the Pilgrim Fathers. George N. Marshall's book, Challenge of a Liberal Faith, was written over 50 years ago, less than a decade after the merger of the UU faith. Yet many of the challenges which faced spiritual seeking, socially liberal people that were there then are also here today. The trappings and failings of organized religion are becoming more and more apparent. But Marshall proposes that we are a religion with deep roots that challenges the institution and attracts those who want to have a do-it-yourself religion, to do your own thing, and to attract the anti-institutionalists of our midst. Now we have two lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle from the indigenous people who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, and the Cupeño. We light the sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice. the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are Different Yet United by Pat Uribe Lichty. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and we come together as one people, with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, we may find each others who are much like us and others who are much different. May our lit chalice remind us that we are a people taught by different stories, with many voices, but always one people, working for a world where love creates justice and justice gives birth to peace. Our hymn now is number 123, Spirit of Life, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing it as the Spirit moves you, and the words will also be projected in case you want to sing it that way. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body of spirit and join us in singing number 123, Spirit of Life.
Of compassion,
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown behind me. At least I hope it is. Yes. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater groceries cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value of the church, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Robert Brown at the church office if you're interested in purchasing the gift cards. Please donate as the Spirit moves you by whatever method works best for you. And thank you for your generosity. For those who give of their time and talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who've joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now come forward and receive the collection? There'll also be a tote bag to collect food and hygiene items for use in our local community. Our next hymn is number 402, From You I Receive, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 402, From You I Receive. And the words should be projected as well.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Our meditation today is May Your Call Be Awakened by Michelle LaGrave. We invite you to take a moment to sit back, relax, close your eyes if it'll help out. Take a deep breath and know that the world is passing by and the world will leave you alone for a little while if you ask gently. We come to religious community from many paths and with diverse needs. If you've come here seeking comfort, may your pain be soothed. If you've come here looking for answers, may you find new questions. If you've come here seeking purpose, may your call be awakened. If you've come here hoping to build a new way, may the path be open to you. Now let's pause for a moment of silence, reflection. Okay. Set back. Now, I'd like to introduce Alex Peck, speaking to us on Why Pick a Church, written by George N. Marshall.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everybody. So, a little bit of an introduction. I found this book sitting in our church library a few weeks ago when I was looking for poetry books to take to my UU summer camp, where I was the worship coordinator. So I was trying to find readings and things. So I came across this book completely by chance, and it was not full of poetry and readings, but I decided to pick it up anyway. And I read the introduction, and I thought it had some nice stuff to say. And despite that it was written, as I mentioned, 50 years ago, I thought there were still some relevant things to be gained from there. And so I thought I would share it with you this morning. First, it starts with a quote. Choosing a church or a synagogue can be a difficult decision when a family moves to a new neighborhood or decides that their present church is unsatisfactory. What should you look for in a church? That was written by Reverend Ernest Campbell of the Riverside Church in New York City in the Reader's Digest of June 1969, in an article entitled How to Pick a Church. The difficulty with this article is that the wrong question is asked. For most people today, it is not how to pick a church, but rather why pick a church. There are increasing numbers of people whose concern for a church affiliation is minimal, and who, when they are free of previous involvements, give little thought to a church affiliation when they move away. To them, the question is not how to, but why. Dr. Campbell goes on to say the basic doctrines of each Protestant denomination are really quite similar. The differences may come down to church organization, sacraments, the way the baptism is administered, for instance, but some of the historical differences have paled considerably. Accordingly, he lists and suggests various considerations of how to choose, which range from congeniality of the people, the qualities of the minister, social connections, the adequacy of the building, etc. These reasons show just how shallow church membership is for the large majority of people who are involved in the greater central denominations, which Campbell suggests have jaded or blurred the distinctive historical commitments which made them relevant at one time. Today, most people are looking for relevant connections, associations, relationships, and opportunities. Relevancy for most people is found outside of the church. Any number of surveys show that there is both a resistance and a protest against organized religion. This is clearly the major factor concerning the churches today. Perhaps that protest begins with the feeling that religion should deal with the inner life of a person and how they relate to one another. Instead, most churches put the primary emphasis on the life of the church, on its dogma, doctrines, belief, and worship, and the individual must adjust or accommodate themselves to the institution. But in a day and age of freedom, of individuals grasping for the right, often called the God-given right, of individual freedom and self-expression, why should we in a church? Should we not assert our own right to nurture our own religious life. One term almost entirely restricted to church use was love, when used in any way other than romantic. Now the word stands out in graffiti, scribbled on walls, sidewalks, souped-up automobiles, wherever the young, the disenchanted, the dropouts, and students gather. One does not any longer have to go to the gospel hymns or the writing of St. Paul to discover the significance of love. Quote, "Now abideth in faith, hope, and love. These three, but the greatest of these is love," from Corinthians 13:13, or the social driving power, "Love beareth all things, living all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things, love never faileth," from Corinthians 13:7. It can unloose the change of the cynically cold and calculating world in which we live. The power of love marks the beginnings of the social revolution of today. When the church is performing its task, it will often make the uncomfortable comfortable and the comfortable uncomfortable. Another way of saying this is lamentably to recognize that for the majority of persons, religion is a comforting experience used to make people conformists, uncritical, and unthinking. To the religious liberal, on the other hand, the church is important because it offers an alternative approach which strengthens, builds resistance, enhances courage, and challenges life's easy platitudes. Thus, the religious liberal may be the best hope for the salvation of the church if it successfully creates this new sense of mission. Otherwise, the church is following the path of its own destruction. Such a quick look around us shows that the signs of times of changing and that social revolution is in danger of taking the pure religion outside of churches. Free people are expressing free faith, and our church is now in the process of being bypassed. Some people laugh and say, much of this idealism is not structured, organized, or fundamental or well-reasoned. It does not fit into a systematic pattern, and it will not give a consistent worldview. Very well, but some well-trained thinkers have the same thing to say about the church. For instance, Rabbi Nathan Gayor wrote, "Much of contemporary religion is immature and irrelevant. It does not humanize or educate the conscience. All too often, it succeeds only in generating smugness, while generating a vision of things as they might be. If it does direct eyes to the future, it does so by fostering the illusion that utopia can be achieved without human effort. If religion is to become relevant, then we need to alter its direction. A mature religion looks at the world with open eyes. It affirms that there are no shortcuts to a better tomorrow. It prepares us for the possibility of failure. At no time does it make peace with injustice or tyranny." In a word, if religion is to play its proper role in contemporary society, it must again assume the task of social criticism on behalf of a better tomorrow for mankind. And David Poling, an ordained minister, former editor of a prestigious Christian Herald magazine, surveyed the contemporary church scene in his book, The Last Years of the Church, and described it this way, quote, "Buildings, annual budgets, 12 choirs, not including the bell ringers, scouts, youth groups, women's circles, relocation problems, church parking lots, and an entire book has been recently published on this alone." He later continues, "The church has nothing to say because they are panting under the load and burdens of housekeeping projects. We live in the biggest building and grounds, construction and shrub trimming period of Christian history. And we have stained more glass and hung more drapes and gilded more crosses and plated more chalices than any era of Christendom." And he continues to tell us again, "This is not a special sin of Protestantism. Long ago, our Catholic brethren, from bishop to parish priest, learned where the action is. Not in the prayer book, the bank book. That is what it takes to build cathedrals, extend missions, etc. Polling's verdict is that these might be the last years of the church, but not because the church is failing, but because it is too successful. Material success often leads to spiritual failure. This is Polling's law of churchmanship. And to this, millions of people outside the churches say, Amen. Even the great liberal spokesperson of the late Bishop James A. Pike gave his reasons to Look magazine, April 29, 1969, Why I'm Leaving the Church. He discusses the fast-growing relevancy gap between the church's teachings and the facts of modern life. He says, many of us know the scores of efforts to make the church and its message more relevant, but the increase in these efforts falls far short. The formidable blue-stocking journal Mantis, a journal of philosophy, opened an editorial on former religions with this sentence, quote, "We seem to be in the midst of a disintegration of the institution of the church. Hardly a month goes by without some new disclosure, usually a clergyman reporting a decline." The Mantis article goes on to recommend a natural religion in place of the formal, sterile religion of institutionalism. We propose to show that there is a religion in existence with deep roots, and we invite you with an invitation to inspection. It is a religion that challenges the institution and attracts those who want to have a do-it-yourself religion, to do your own thing, and to attract the anti-institutionalist in our midst. Unitarians had a remarkable spokesman 2 centuries ago who proposed a chart for a modern liberal religious movement. Theodore Parker wrote, "The church that is to lead this century will not be a church creeping on all fours, mewing and whining, with its face turned down, its eyes turned back. It must be full of the brave spirit of the day, keeping all the good times of the past. There's a terrific energy in this age, for one was never so much developed, so much the ruler of oneself before. Great truths, moral and political, have come to light. It demands as never before freedom from itself, usefulness in its institutions, truth in its teachings, and beauty in its deeds. Let a church have that freedom, that usefulness, truth and beauty, and the energy of this age will be on its side. But the church which did for the 5th century or the 15th will not do for this one. It must have our ideas, the smell of our ground. It must have grown out of the religion in our soul. The freedom of America must therefore be the freedom of America must be there before this energy will come. The wisdom of the 19th century before its science will be on the church's side. A church that believes only in past inspirations will appeal to the old books as the standard of truth and the light and the source of light. It will be antiquarian in its habits. It will call its children by the old names and war on the new age, not understanding the man-child born to rule the world. A church that believes in inspirations now will appeal to God, try things by reason and conscience, aim to suppress the old heroes, baptize its children with a new spirit, using the present age, will lead a public opinion, not follow it. Let us have a church that dares imitate the heroism of Jesus, seeks inspiration as he sought it, judge the past as he, act on the present like him, pray as he prayed, work as he wrought, lived as he lived. Let our doctrines and our forms fit the soul as the limbs fit the body, growing out of it, but growing with it. Let us have a church for the whole man, truth for the mind, good work for the hand, love for the heart. and for the soul, that aspiring after perfection, that unfaltering faith in God, which, like lightning in the clouds, shines brightest when elsewhere it is most dark. But that was Theodore a century and a half ago. Has Unitarian Universalism lost its relevancy in the intervening century? We think not. In April 1960, Joseph Poling wrote in Pageant magazine, "Perhaps more than any other denomination, Unitarian ministers are likely to speak out on blunt, controversial issues, firmly backed by their flock. In Lincoln's day, the Unitarian Church was a militant leader of the anti-slavery movement. Today," that was 50 years ago when this was written, by the way, "includes the Southern ones, opening their doors to Black people and actively supporting integration. And now in the present day," this is me speaking in 2025, "the UUA has put out strong statements against the cop city that's being formed in Atlanta, the horrible actions that we're seeing from ICE and immigration services, and other strong statements against the atrocities that we've seen in the modern age." Back to the book. When Senator Joseph McCarthy was at his most influential, the Unitarian-controlled Beacon Press was the first publishing house to issue books attacking his practices as demagogic. Unitarians are active out of all proportions to their numbers, in United Nations associations, in the World Federal Government Movement. We do not hesitate to question what we deem to be religious folly, even if it means challenging the world's most popular evangelist, as A. Powell Davies did when he publicly asked Billy Graham to justify his assertion that heaven is a 1,600-mile cube containing trees that produce a different kind of fruit each month. Nor do they hesitate to oppose any movement, theological or political, which we feel threatens the freedom of the individual. Our lack of fear of controversy may stem from the fact that our church was born out of disputation. The name Unitarian was coined in the 16th century for certain Protestant disserters of the doctrine of the Trinity. Actually, Trinitarian doctrine became church orthodoxy only because of a divided vote of the General Council of Constantinople some 375 years after the death of Christ. Michael Servetus, who lived in 1533, was burned at the stake in John Calvin's Geneva for his Unitarian heresy. It is generally considered the founder of modern Unitarianism. His followers profited from the first great edicts of religious freedom, issued in 1568 by King John Sigmund of Transylvania, Hungary. By 1600, there are 425 Unitarian churches in Transylvania. In England, during the 17th century, men like the poet John Milton, the philosopher John Locke, and the physicist Isaac Newton fostered the church's growth. As the 18th century drew to a close, Joseph Priestley, a Unitarian minister and the discoverer of oxygen, was forced to flee the United States to escape the attack of mobs protesting his liberalism. Encouraged by Benjamin Franklin, he established the first Unitarian church in this country in Northumberland, Pennsylvania, in 1794. Soon after, Boston's famed King's Chapel left the Anglican fold, and in 1802, the church founded by the Pilgrim Fathers, the first parish in Plymouth, became Unitarian. Thus, he clearly showed the relevancy of Unitarian Universalism to be both contemporary and in keeping with the historical antecedents. As a religious fellowship which has not blunted its driving power. Perhaps that is because, while dedicated to brotherhood and understanding, it had the courage to continue walking alone. Poling continued, "Although the denomination has grown steadily, it is not a member of the National Council of Churches of Christ. When the National Council was formed by American Protestant churches at the turn of the century, the 3 Unitarian delegates to the organization meeting in New York were denied admission as heretics who would not recognize Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. The 3 heretics turned away at Massachusetts Governor John D. Long, Charles W. Eliot, president of Harvard, and Dr. Edward Everett Hale, author of The Man Without a Country, and then chaplain of the United States Senate. The Unitarians accept their maverick role with good and wry humor. Heresy, they say, is a relative charge since, after all the Catholics regard all Protestants as heretics, and vice versa. As far as we're concerned, there is no such thing as a heretic, just man, entitled always to our own belief, imperfect but not inherently bad, incapable of rising by slow degrees to higher planes, to aspire to contribute to the emboldenment of our life goal, which we feel with no name calling can demean. Those within the Unitarian Universalist movement may even enjoy the name calling, for we recognize and enjoy the role of being heretics in a conventional sense, in being the mavericks of the religious landscape. This is the challenge of the liberal religion, which frees us from old stereotypes so that we can develop in freedom a modern religion that is increasingly naturalistic, humanistic, idealistic, and realistic. If you have ever doubted traditional faith, if you have ever wondered about ideas that others do not question, if you have ever felt revulsion at the concepts of life and death that are so trite they become meaningless banalities of the religious life, if you have a tendency to reject the cliches of religious institutionalism and being appalled by its sentimentality, if your mind refuses to accept non-scientific teachings, you may be a Unitarian Universalist without even knowing it, and on the road to religious liberalism. And for those of you sharing your Sunday here in the church with me this morning, thank you so much for spending your time here with me and sharing in this beautiful journey together. Thank you. Namaste, Amen, and blessed be.
Our closing hymn. Our closing hymn is "Let It Be a Dance." Yes, in the gray hymnal. And feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. And please stand as your spirit is willing and able, and join us in this.
Everybody turn and spin, let your body burn.
Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we have gathered under the banner of a shared faith. We are born of a welcoming grace that extends and receives love. We're touched by the ways we have fallen short of who we strive to be. And here, we are reborn, forged by a greater courage. Let us move from this place, encouraged and refreshed for the journey ahead. Namaste. Amen. And blessed be. Alec, thank you for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It's sincerely appreciated. We look forward to seeing you again. Now we're going to have 10 to 15 minutes for discussion following the service. For those who wish to share your thoughts and observations on today's topic, please be aware that this will be included in the video that is posted. For the rest of you, you're now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall. Would anyone like to come up and share your thoughts? What?
What was the topic that we were discussing?
We were talking about looking at modern day religion.
Looking at modern one?
Modern religion and
Okay.
our take on it today.
My name is Tim. I gathered we were talking about modern religion. Okay, is modern religions any different from old religions?
Yes.
Well, Catholicism is one of the oldest religions, and it's one of the most powerful there has ever been. It's the most wealthiest, has become known to be the wealthiest church on earth. I think it gathered in Italy, Rome and Italy. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Alec, for sharing that sermon. It was really good. It's something I've said a lot, where I'm involved in different groups and go to different events where I'm often surrounded by people who I think would make really good UUs. A couple weeks ago, is Karina still here? Karina and I spent the day at the Riverside People's Free Market, and everybody there who's involved with that would make great UUs. But those people are generally not looking for a church. They're not looking to go to church. And I think a lot of that has to do with, you talked about, a lot of churches just are not relevant. I saw a TikTok recently, and a guy said, your children are not leaving the church because you didn't teach them well enough. You didn't teach them the gospel. You didn't teach them Jesus well enough. You taught them to search for love and to search for justice, and they didn't find that in their church. And so they went looking elsewhere. And I think the fact that our church can stay relevant, our shared value of transformation says that as we, as a human family, grow and learn more about ourselves and our place in the universe, our faith can grow and develop more. And I think that that's something that's really special about this faith that can keep us relevant and hopefully allow us to continue to grow. But thank you.
I like this talk. The thing that stood out to me, I guess, would be that sometimes the wealthiest and the shiniest of churches are the most shallow. I think Unitarian Universalism, being an inherent liberal faith on the cutting edge of leading to personal freedom, will and always and probably should be poor. Thank you.
Hello. Just an idea. Very significant. Thank you, Alec. Here's a suggestion. In fact, it's a recommendation. Notice the number of people here. If you were impressed by this idea and by what was delivered, do that famous thing called pass it forward. Even if you didn't hear it, or even if it wasn't Zoomed, that doesn't mean out in the universe, out in our world, as it is right now, it can make a difference for people who are feeling uncertain, uncomfortable, and want to find a way to unite to make it better for the future. It's your responsibility, if you choose to take that, to pass it forward. The message that there is a place and there is an idea set that may incorporate welcoming all and not judging anyone, but welcoming them all into the network of a solution where maybe compassion and maybe caring for our fellow man will outwin the power of money and power and corruption. Just an idea. Pass it forward. That could be something you could have as an assignment. Thank you. Bye.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for giving that talk. That was awesome. I was a history major, so I love when people dive into the facts. And I kind of feel like why would anyone want to go to church after the AIDS crisis, when Jerry Falwell was like, AIDS is a disease sent by God meant to kill people. And then you take a look at Christianity in general, and you're like, wow, these people are gathering in a church and they're putting on display a man that they murked, a man that they murdered. And we're putting it on display and celebrating it. It's like church doesn't make sense anymore to us. But it's really problematic because church was the institution that gave humans faith for thousands of years. And without faith, it's hard for communities to come together and find joy. And right now we're really lacking joy in America. And we're lacking community because we don't know what community means anymore. We don't know what faith means anymore. And I think that in one instance, we can look at all the facts and we can look at everything that's going on in the world and say, hey, people aren't going to church. But I think we need to look at what church is. And that's what I love so much about Unitarianism is God is whatever God is to you. Why would my relationship with God be the same as yours? Why would my relationship with my sister be the same as my mom's relationship with her? That's just not how it works. And when you can come together in a place where God can be whatever God means to you, you can find your true path and your true purpose. And so thank you for providing the space, you guys, and thank you for today's talk.
I'll dive on in here, especially since there have been a couple of words that were cued. Because we're talking modern religion, we cannot sit there and scream out things like Inquisition or something like that. So what we have is we have a possible map for the future and an idea that says, it doesn't have to be a utopia, but danged if we can't do better than what we've been doing. So on the idea of a utopia has a tendency to say one way. So do this thing, don't do this other thing, and it'll all be okay. And then there are other people who say, no, you can't do utopians or else it kills human progress because we'll leave certain highly useful things, highly useful ideas alone. I would, especially these days, since we've had some of our brothers and sisters from the more conservative religions have said with shock, Christ said that? He sounds like a commie. I think we can do better. I think we can make a world that without a utopia, I don't even have a clean room right now. I got to go home and do a little touch up on my room when I get home. I darn well know that there's work as can be done in the world at large. And I don't have to beat on you and breathe hellfire to say we can do better. And that idea of getting together in a large group where on a day where my faith is weak but yours is strong, that I can kindle my own flame back again and be a fit champion for the light, whatever it is, science or God or something else. That I can be a good champion in my corner of the world just as you can, just by the simple act of trading phrases and ideas. Hi, Ralph. Come on up. Oh, I tipped that up for you. There.
I just want to reflect my disappointment in a visitor that was sitting over here with the camera, got in line to come to the mic, and nobody saw him, and he finally left after 3 people cut in front.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to? What? Does anyone else have something they'd like to speak to on this one? Hey, it's good to see you again.
Good morning. It's great to be here, and I'm going to be very thrilled to introduce to you folks one of our five grandchildren. And Ivanka, stand up, and she is, we're so glad you came and we could chat. We had a nice luncheon yesterday with Adam and Pat and Lauren at their little restaurant, and we've had a good time. And I was thrilled that she would want to come in and join this. I'm not sure if she would like to say a word or two, but she's very articulate. So, Ivanka, if you would like some, come on and welcome her. Oh, come on.
Hi, everybody. This meeting has brought me a lot of tears today because I'm remembering my grandma Kay. This place has been so special to my grandparents and has been a source of such community, and we're here remembering her, and being here together with you all is just really heartwarming and gives me a lot of hope for the future. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, folks, I think it's probably about time that we got together and met each other out by the coffee table and in the parish hall next door. Okay. Now hold on, is there anything else?